Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee, here on behalf of the NFC Super Friends, bringing you around the NFC East in week number 15 in the National Football League. The first week this season where all four NFC East teams lose in the same week. So winless was the NFC East in week 15. Still 2-10-4 teams in the division, both among two of the best teams in the NFC overall. But I think we see chinks in the armor. We see flaws with both teams. I'd be lying to you if I said that I was surprised. I've talked about these things, and I've been called delusional and crazy and all kinds of names because instead of talking about the issues, people like to deflect. They want to talk about my team. My team is ass. I've never debated that. That's the problem, is I can meet those issues head on. You're not telling me anything that I don't already know. But we're not the team with Super Bowl aspirations. I told Eagles fans long ago, at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, defense is trash. They didn't want to hear it. I was told, or I was asked, how many games has the defense cost us? Well, for those of you keeping score at home, that's 3 now in a row. 3 in a row. Interesting how that works. I also said that offensively, you were poorly coached. Said you got more talent than you did last year, but you're poorly coached. And I was told, not going to miss Shane Steichen. As a matter of fact, Brian Johnson has known Jalen Hurts since high school. We'll be fine on offense. That's what I was told. I said, man, I'm seeing an awful lot of QB draws for a team that's quote-unquote fine on offense. Seeing an awful lot of QB draws. Christian McCaffrey was on national television last night calling your plays. You know why? Because they're predictable, like Jamie Foxx. Maybe they should be unpredictable like Jamie Foxx, I should say. Whatever the case may be. I told Cowboys fans, you can be run on. For as good as Dan Quinn is as the defensive play caller, he likes his defense fast, and he likes them physical and aggressive. But in doing that, he trades girth and size for that aggressiveness, for that speed and quickness. Hence, you can run on them. They're light in the trunks. I was told I was crazy and I didn't know what I was talking about. I was told that the 49ers only ran on them on the edges, on the outside, and only ran up the middle when the game was out of control and the outcome was no longer in question. Okay. James Cook, 25 carries. 179 yards. 7 a pop. The Bills rushed for almost 250 on 50 carries almost. Damn shame what they did to that dog, too. Let's get to the NFC East as a whole. And we start with the trash of the division, the Washington Commanders, who went out to LA to take on the Rams. It was 28-7 in the fourth quarter with 9 minutes to go when they decided to bench Sam Howell for reasons unknown and unbeknownst to me or any fan out there. I don't know what you were looking to gain from this because Brissett came in, played well as you would expect a veteran to do in a game that's essentially already over. And that, again, doesn't show well and reflect well on your young quarterback. So, again, I don't know what the aim was here. I don't know if they were trying to show, hey, It's not Eric Bieniemy's fault that the offense is struggling. Maybe, I don't know. Perfect timing to bring him in at the end when the game is no longer in the balance. And you have pretty much no shot to win, even though they made it very interesting quickly, or they tried to until they got down to the 1 yard line and couldn't get in for 2 minutes. But that's besides the point. They did more damage than good in benching Sam Howell. And Ron Rivera said that he was doing it in the best interest of the quarterback and protecting him in a game where he really wasn't getting hit all that much. There were games this season where he was sacked 9 times and beat to a pulp. They never tried to save him from himself in those games. He didn't play well, did Sam Howell. But this team stinks. And frankly, nobody's playing well on this football team. But at the end of the day, we can't wait for the offseason. It can't get here fast enough. This team is absolutely garbage can juice. And I really think that Sam Howell needs more time, right? And would be really beneficial to him to just get an opportunity with a clean slate, with a better offensive line, with better play calling, with someone that's going to actually take care of him as a quarterback. I think he should be given more time, right? Another opportunity next year. That's how I would go about it. But really, the game upcoming on the schedule in Week 16 versus the Jets is, I think, going to determine a lot as to whether this team selects a quarterback in the upcoming draft or they go in a different direction, say offensive line or, tight end, receiver, whatever. I think you're going to pretty much predetermine what is going to be done by the outcome of this game versus the Jets on Sunday. The Jets currently hold the 6th overall pick in the NFL draft. They have 5 wins on the season. Washington has 4. They currently hold the 4th overall pick in the draft. Should Washington defeat the Jets, get to their 5th win, they could drop as low as 9 in the draft standings in order. Should they beat or lose, rather, to the Jets, coupled with a Cardinals win, they play the Bears this week. Somebody's going to win. The Bears currently have the 5th overall pick in the draft. New England has a date with the Broncos, and they finish up the season with these said Jets. So New England could win another game or 2. If Washington loses this game to the Jets, this is probably their last winnable game on the schedule. If they lose this game, the likelihood is they're going to finish 4-13. And they could finish with the number 2 overall pick. You win this game, and you could end up with the 9th, possibly the 11th overall pick if Dallas doesn't have anything to play for in Week 18. Who knows? Lot riding on this game in Week 16. If you're Sam Howell, you got to go out and play the game of your life. Like your starting career depended on it. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't bet on Burgundy, that's for sure. Washington drops to 4-11 and officially, or 4-10. Or is it 4-11? Yeah, 4-10 on the season and are officially eliminated from playoff contention, as if they were ever still in the hunt. But officially, they've been mathematically eliminated. The Giants, earlier in the day on the road at New Orleans, it was funny listening to Giants fans talk about the playoffs. I got a kick out of that. Like, we didn't beat them this year, but we've done enough damage, mentally to the Giants' psyche. To the fans that wanted a quarterback, we destroyed that. And then we gave them false hope only for it to be snatched away once more. So it was kind of enjoyable to watch Giants fans get excited, talk about how they're, one game out of the wild card and we play the Saints and the Rams as if they're good enough to beat either one of those teams. It was actually hilarious watching them get excited all over again just to have their little giant hearts broken. That game was never really in doubt, never really close. Giants lose the game 24-6. Tommy DeVito struggled in the game, got injured, came back into the game. Saquon Barkley was a non-factor. They reduced him to next to nothing in terms of his role in this football game. The Giants dropped the football all over the place and never really gave themselves a chance in this game. Defensively, they fought, but it just wasn't good enough, and they didn't get any help from their offense. They're the worst offensive team in football along with the New England Patriots, so no one's surprised there. But, Giants fans for at least a week had fleeting hope, and that was fun to watch it be dashed yet again, all right? We did our jobs. As, a team that can't seem to beat the Giants, we did what we were supposed to do. Misery loves company, and the Giants are right behind us in the draft order at 6 or 7. And they're out of the range of getting one of these top-tier quarterbacks. Doesn't mean they're not going to get a good quarterback. Who knows? If they take a quarterback, it doesn't mean they're not going to get a good one. Hell, we might have saved them from overdrafting one of these bums in this draft, potentially. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but all I know is the Giants fans who thought that the playoffs were still a realistic option for you, they came back crashing down to earth after they were dominated by the New Orleans Saints 24-6. And it was funny, I was on social media and somebody said, it was good to get a break from mock drafts for a week, but I'm back. And he had a full 7-round mock draft after allowing his mind to wander for a week thinking, hey, we beat the Saints. We're 6-8. We're right back in the middle of this thing and we still play the Rams. Now you can put that down, pick up the mock drafts again, and get back to business as regularly scheduled. Giants drop to 5-9 on the season and get back to the off-season talk like they're supposed to. And then there are the two big titans of the division. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, who played on Sunday afternoon in America's Game of the Week. America's team, Jersey boys, on America's Game of the Week. Dallas. Where do we begin? So I talked about the Cowboys, and I talked about them playing outside where it's cold. A little chilly outside, right? Talked about them playing outside in the elements, getting away from that home cooking down in Texas. Talked about the physicality. Like, hey, this is different. This is upstate New York in December, right? These boys are desperate. And I had this conversation with my dad. Y'all know Boss is a Cowboys fan. And we talked, and he talked that craziness. He said, hey, we're not losing another game in the regular season this year. And that was after the win over Carolina. He told me that. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. No, he said that after the Thanksgiving beatdown of the Commanders. I said, oh, shit, here we go. And, so, of course, they dust off the Eagles and, the bravado and the ego swells. And I tried to reason with him. And I said, boss, listen to me. The Bills are desperate. They don't want this game. They absolutely need it. Have to have it. You want this game. You don't need it. You'd like to have it, but you don't need it. They're desperate. And they're going to come out playing as if their season depended on it, because it does. The Bills are playing playoff games right now. The Cowboys aren't. They're going to the playoffs. They've already clinched the playoff berth. They want to establish themselves as one of the best teams in the league. They want these things. They want to be good on the road. They want to dispel the notion that they can't beat quality opponents with winning records. They want a lot of things. They don't need to do that, though. The Bills need to win the game. And I'm telling you, if you can't match that level of desperation, you will get trounced in this game. I've also talked about running the football on Dallas. And I was told that I was crazy, that I was delusional, and that I didn't know what I was talking about. Here's what I will offer up. I say a lot of things. Granted, I'm a Commanders fan, so I am slightly biased towards my team. Who isn't, right? So I may say some wacky things about my team in particular. But understand this. I'm an NFL fan first, before I'm a Commanders fan. My team has sucked for most of my life. So I had to learn to love the NFL more than my team, because if not, I wouldn't enjoy the sport. So understand, when I speak, I'm not looking to be biased towards your team or any other team. I'm just giving out cold, hard facts. That's it. My opinions mixed in with cold, hard facts. Years and years of doing what I do. You can try to discredit me all you want because I'm a Commanders fan. Don't let that blind you from the words that I'm actually saying out of my mouth. I told you could run on Dallas's defense. They're light. They're aggressive. They're fast. They're quick. They fly to the football, but they're light. You put a body on a body. Did you see Deion Dawkins pick up Damone Clark's little ass and take him for a 20-yard ride and then dump him on his hip and leave him in anguish and pain on the 1-yard line? Did you see that? That's what happens when you want to parade around a bunch of 205 to 20 to 30 pound linebackers who are really safeties, like Damone Clark, like Bell, and think that teams aren't going to run that football right at your ass. Micah Parsons is an excellent defender. I watched Dawson Knox take him and walk his ass 2 gaps over on that touchdown run to seal the deal. This is a light unit up front. You can run at them. You can run on them. Josh Allen said he felt like a group member that got an A on a group project that didn't do anything. Man had less than 100 yards passing because he didn't need to throw the football. They ran it for 250 on your skulls. The Bills aren't even like that in the run game. I mean, they can be, but they're not like that. They're not the Browns. They're not the Titans. They're not one of these teams that build their offense around the ability to run the football. They're not the 49ers. They don't usually bully up teams, smack them around with the run game, but they made you look like some bitches. And ain't really shit you can do about it at this point. You are who you are. Every time you see a team with some chops, you get your ass chopped up. You want respect. You're crying. Nobody wants to give you respect. This is why. Every time you see a team like this, specifically on the road, you get dealt with. And the shit don't even be close. Dak Prescott for MVP? Where? Every time he sees a team like this coming, this is the kind of performance you get. I didn't hear, here we go. I don't hear that shit now, do we? Sometimes you just got to humble yourself. I don't know. If you don't want to do it, somebody else will do it for you. The beauty is, you still can win the division. But you got to go on the road and beat Miami to do it. Right? Need those wins against common opponents. Gotta have it. Always need it. We'll see if you have better luck on the road next week in South Beach. It won't be as cold outside. It'll be sunny. Maybe that makes all the difference in the world. We'll see. Cowboys get destroyed 31-10 in a game that probably wasn't even as close as the score indicates. They're 10-4, and they still lead the NFC East because of their divisional record right now, having played more division games than the Philadelphia Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles, they too are 10-4. Why? Because they waited till Monday night to embarrass themselves. And the stage was set for the Eagles to start turning their season around. They went through this murderer's row portion of their schedule. And Eagles fans, despite barely winning and trailing by double digits at halftime of just about every single game in that stretch that we talked about, stands for the Dolphins game. You trailed by double digits against the Commanders at half. You trailed by double digits against Dallas in the first game at the half. You trailed by double digits. I don't know if it was double digits against Dallas. You trailed at the half, though. You trailed by double digits at the half against the 49ers. You trailed by double digits against the Chiefs. If I'm not mistaken, the 49ers might have been 14-6. So it might not have been double digits. But you were down at the half of every single one of these games except for the Dolphins game. And in most instances, you were down double digits. Commanders, Chiefs, and Bills for sure, down by double digits at the half. But it was okay, all right? Because you found a way to win, and so everything was all peaches and cream. And I'm like, I hope you don't fall into the trap of believing that everything's fine because you won. Winning is the best deodorant, but trust me, it doesn't cover up the stench. And unfortunately, Eagles fans couldn't see that. I tried to warn them, but they didn't want to listen to me. I'm a Commanders fan. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, I said earlier this season, offense, and I'm going to continue to say this over and over again, offense, much better than it was from a talent perspective last year, much worse coached. You're going to miss Shane Steichen. I've been saying that. I said, boy, I'm seeing an awful lot of QB draws. Quarterback is ill. Isn't feeling well. You know, they didn't know if he was going to be able to play. He's going to go out there and give it a go. And the first damn play is a QB keep. Student body right. You got to be shitting me. Anyway, this offense has struggled. That's an understatement the last 3 weeks. Granted, you've played some really tough defenses. Dallas's defense, San Francisco's defense. That wasn't the case on Monday night. The Seahawks had given up 100 combined points in their last 3 games, and they were averaging giving up over that span 33.3 points a game. They were giving up big plays left and right. This was supposed to be a get-right game for the Eagles offense. And defensively, Drew Lock was starting. I figured you had the key, the code, the combination, or something to the lock. Apparently not. A lot of people are probably going to focus in on this defense after this game because they gave up a 92-yard drive with the game on the line, up 4. All you had to do was stop Drew Lock from doing something he really hadn't done all night, which is take the team all the way down the field by himself. Really, the run game had been the crutch that he had leaned on all night. Man had 120 yards, essentially, prior to the final drive of the game. Something in that neighborhood, 120, 140 yards. He hadn't done much of anything. And then you let him go 92 yards in like 8 plays. Score a touchdown. So a lot of people are going to focus in on the defense. That defensive performance was good enough to win. He scored 17 points against a team that was giving up over the last 3 games 33 points a game. They were on a 4-game losing streak. They were on their backup quarterback. You should score more than 17 points. And honestly, that's where the focus should be today. But again, there's enough blame to go around. The defense didn't get it done in a crucial moment. But you give up 13 points, 20 overall. That final possession, you're supposed to win the game. But again, even when you were beating teams like Kansas City when you scored 20 points in that game, everybody's like, oh, it's okay. We won. So then we're going to ignore the elephants in the room. Said this defense is worse than it was. You guys told me, not going to miss Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, not going to miss Marcus Epps, not going to miss Kaiser White, not going to miss Javon Hargraves, not going to miss TJ Edwards. We're fine. We're good. Okay, if you say so. Not going to miss Avonte Maddox, even though he's not gone, he's just hurt. Okay, you say so. I said you're missing an awful lot of pieces from last year. Didn't think you were poorly coached, just not as talented. I told you guys a month ago, James Bradbury can't run. You guys mocked me. Told me I was crazy. I'm a Commanders fan. I don't know what I'm talking about. Told you Darius Slay is old. He's injured again. Your secondary is old. So you go out and you get Kevin Byard as if he's going to change something. And I looked at you and I said, he's good. He's all right, but he's not real. His best football is come and gone. And then, funny, I had a great time watching the Cowboys and Eagles fight over a washed-up linebacker. You think if the Indianapolis Colts thought this guy could still play, you think they would have cut him? You think they just let him walk because he had a bad attitude? You're right. He can't play anymore. He's damaged goods. So watching y'all fight over Shaq Leonard like he's a difference maker was hysterical. This defense, you can't fix it at this point. It is what it is. You just got to hope that they hold up. And really what you should be focused on is this offense, because your only shot is outscoring the opposition. And if you can only muster 17 to 20 points, 19 against the 49ers, 6 on offense against the Cowboys, and then 17 against the Seattle Seahawks defense that, as I mentioned before, had given up 100 total points the 3 games previous. If you can only muster 17 against them, that's where the focus should be. Because if you're going to win games against teams like Detroit, Dallas, and God forbid you make it to the Super Bowl and have to beat a team like, say, Buffalo again, or the Baltimore Ravens, you're going to have to score some damn points. And right now, you're not doing it. The beauty of the situation is you've gone through the treacherous portion of your schedule. Now you got a chance to get right. Let's see if you take advantage of this opportunity, playing the Giants twice and sandwiched in between a date with the Arizona Cardinals. If you can't get your shit off and get your shit together off these 3 games, you're done. A lot of your fans have given up. It was fun watching Eagles fans panic and say all the shit that I had been saying for months. Vindication is a beautiful thing. It is. But I'm not as down on either one of these teams, the Eagles or the Cowboys. They are who they are. I've known this for months. You are who you are. You're still 10-4. You're still 2 of the best teams in the conference. You just know who you are. It's better to know the devil. It's better to deal with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. So if you're Philadelphia, you know your defense is trash. You know your corners are old. You know your offensive coordinator sucks ass. Figure it out. You know what you're dealing with now. Figure the shit out. Right? If you're Dallas, you can be run on. You don't play well in cold weather. Don't want to go on the road. Okay. Get home field advantage. Or as much of it as you can. You need a home playoff game, at least that. You go out on the road against, say, New Orleans. Hell, Tampa, I don't know. Might not be the same as it was last year. That's a different Tampa Bay Buccaneers group this year. Saints are ass. You probably go in there and beat them up. But, hey, who knows? Saints can be a physical team when they want to be. You're better off just trying to get home field. at least for the wild card game, if nothing else. But again, if you can get to that 2 seed, which is not a guarantee right now. You know, what's funny is I'm hearing Cowboys and Eagles fans talk about, you know, getting that 2 seed, winning the division. Look out for Detroit. Dallas, you play them, so you got some say-so in the matter, but look out for Detroit. One of y'all might end up being the 3rd seed and not the 2 seed. Whoever wins the division might not be the 2 seed. Because the 1 seed that's the thing, that's the biggest takeaway from this weekend is the 1 seed is out of question for both teams now. You already needed a little bit of help before. With the 49ers owning the tiebreaker over both of you, it's a wrap. Because they're not losing 2 games. They may lose to the Ravens on Christmas. I doubt it. But they may lose to them on Christmas Day. They're not losing to Washington or the Rams. So you're cooked in that regard. The number 1 seed is a distant memory now. Now you got to focus on trying to win the division and get to the number 2 seed. I've already told you the 1 seed in the NFC might not be the best place to be anyway. But we'll see how things shake out. Ultimately, you know your flaws. And now you got to figure out a way to circumvent them. I still see 2 really good football teams. The question is, can you get your shit together in enough time for the playoff run and maybe do some damage and turn some shit around? Right now, it looks bleak. It's not as bleak as you think. But, yeah, we'll see. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie Tee. Oh, I know I'm going to catch a lot of shit in the comment section for this one. Don't care. I'm used to it. But one thing you can't deny, those who don't hear, they feel. They laugh at me every time I say it. Truer words have never been spoken. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie Tee. Damn, Law was right about those damn 49ers. Since they tenderized that Philly meat real good, them boys ain't been right ever since. See if they can turn it around this week against the Giants. They can always beat up on the Giants, right? Right. Dallas, good luck in Miami. Ding! You're going to need it. As for the Giants and Commanders, don't worry about us. We're down here at the bottom. We'll figure this shit out eventually. Till next time, you guys have a good one.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.
Tenderize that Philly meat real good.